Well, hi, good morning, my friends. Sorry, I'm a little bit behind my schedule this morning, um, and had to take a Benadryl last night, so I was like really sleepy and holy cow. Anyway, I'm gonna put a link to this video. I really hope um, all my Christian friends and others will take a look at this link that I'm going to attach. It's just such a great message of what um, about your true self and about love and what about letting God's love flow through you to others. When you love yourself, you can love others. And we are hidden in Christ in his love, right? And the message is entitled The Idol in the Box. And it's from the, I think it's called One Church. Excuse me. Um, anyway, I can't think of it. But anyways, I'll put a link and you could take a look at it and see. Um, it's just really good. And I'm just thinking that it's when you're your true self, you don't want to divide and say they're wrong, they're these people over here are wrong and I'm right, and and I've got the right message, I've got the right God, I've got the you know um that's being separatist. That's you know that's the that's what Jesus was so upset about with the Pharisees. And if you listen to this link, it goes all into that, okay? And it's really important lesson, okay, and message. So you and I are in Esther chapter 5, and I'd like to at least get this going here. Do leave me a thumbs up, like, and share when you're able to, okay? Esther invites the king and Haman to a banquet, okay? Now it came to pass on the third day that Esther put her royal apparel on, stood in the inner court of the king's house, over against the king's house, and the king sat upon his royal throne in the royal house over against the gate of the house. And it was so. And when the king saw Esther, the queen, standing in the court, that she obtained favor in his sight, and the king held out to Esther the golden scepter that was in his hand. So Esther drew near and touched the top of the scepter. Then said the king unto her, What will thou, Queen Esther? And what is thy request? And it shall be given unto thee, and half of the kingdom. And Esther answered, seems good unto the king to let the king and Haman come to this day unto the banquet that I have prepared for him. The king said, Cause Haman to make haste, and he may do as Esther has said. So the king and Haman came to the banquet and Esther had prepared. Okay, so she's prepared this banquet and she's invited Haman and the king. And the king said unto Esther at the banquet of wine, What is thy petition? What is it that you're asking for? And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? Even if the half of the kingdom, it shall be performed. In other words, you'll get it, okay? Then answered Esther and said, My petition and my request is, if I have found favor in the sight of the king, and if it may please the king to grant my petition and to perform my request, let the king and Haman come to the banquet that I shall prepare for them, and I will do tomorrow as the king has said. Then went Haman forth that day joyful with a glad heart. But when Haman saw Mordecai in the king's gate, He stood not up, nor moved for him. He was full of indignation against Mordecai. Nevertheless, Haman refrained himself, and when he came home, he sent and called for his friends and Zeresh his wife. And Haman told them of the glory of the riches and the multitude of his children, and all the things wherein the king had promoted him, and how he had advanced him above the prince and servants of the king. Haman said moreover, Yes, Esther the queen did let no man come in with the king unto the banquet that she had prepared but myself. And tomorrow I'm invited unto her also with the king. Yet all that availeth me nothing, so long as I see Mordecai the Jew sitting at the king's gate. Then said Zeresh his wife, all his friends unto him, Let the gallows be made of 50 cubits high, and tomorrow speak unto the king that Mordecai may be hanged thereon. Then go thou into merrily with the king and the banquet. And the thing that pleased Haman, that he caused the gallows to be made. Chapter 6. Ahasurus rewards Mordecai for former services. Haman commanded to do him honor. On the night could not the king sleep, and he commanded to bring the book of records of the chronicles, and they were read before the king. And it was found written that Mordecai had told Bigthana and Teresh, two of the chamberlains, the king's chamberlains, the keepers of the door, who sought to lay hand on the king, ahasurus. And the king said, What honor and dignity have been done to Mordecai for this? Then said the king's servant that ministered unto him, There is nothing done for him. And that ministered unto him, There is nothing done for him. And the king said, Who is in the court? Now Haman had come to the outward court of the king's house to speak unto the king to hang Mordecai on the gallows that he had prepared for him. And the king's servant said unto him, Behold, Haman standeth in the court. And the king said, Let him come in. So Haman came in, and the king said unto him, What shall be done unto this man whom the king delighteth to honor? Now Haman thought in his heart, To whom would the king delight to honor more than to myself? And Haman answered the king, he's being conceited and selfish, this guy, okay? And Haman answered the king, For the man whom the king delighteth to honor, let the royal apparel be brought, which the king used to wear, and the horse that the king rideth upon, and the royal crown which is set upon his head. And let the apparel and the horse be delivered into the hand of one of the king's most noble princes, that they may array the man withal whom the king delighteth to honor, and bring him on horseback through the street of the city, and proclaim before him, Thus it be done to the man whom the king delighteth to honor. And then the king said to Haman, Make haste, and make the apparel and the horse that thou hast said to do, and even so to Mordecai the Jew that sitteth at the king's gate. Let nothing fail of all that has been spoken. And then took Haman the apparel, the horse, and arrayed Mordecai, and brought him on horseback through the street of the city, and proclaimed before him, And thus it shall be done unto the man whom the king delighteth to honor. And Mordecai came again to the king's gate, but Haman hasted to his house, mourning and having his head covered. And Haman said to Zeresh his wife and all his friends everything that had befallen him. Then his wise men and Zeresh his wife said unto him, If Mordecai be of the seed of the Jews, before whom thou hast begun to fall, thou shalt not prevail against him, but shall surely fall before him. And while they were yet talking with him, came the king's chamberlain, and hasted to bring Haman into the banquet that Esther had prepared. Okay, I'm going to stop there, and we'll continue with chapter 7 at a later date. Take care. Happy hump day. Bye-bye.